The rain had been falling for hours. A slow, steady drizzle covered the small town of Pinebrook, painting the roads in gray and turning the streetlights into blurred halos of pale gold. Inside a tiny attic room, on the top floor of an old wooden house, a young man sat by the foggy window, staring into the storm. His name was Ethan Carter. Ethan had always believed in dreams. As a child, he used to lie on the grass and imagine himself standing on a grand stage, holding a microphone, his words filling large halls, inspiring thousands. He dreamed of becoming a motivational speaker, a writer whose words could change the world. But that was before life began to close its doors. At 24, Ethan was unemployed, struggling with unpaid bills, student loans, and constant rejection from every job interview. His manuscripts were rejected. His emails went unanswered. His phone remained silent. Even his closest friends had begun to drift away, busy with their own successful lives. Tonight, as the storm raged outside, Ethan felt like the world had given up on him. He whispered, almost himself, "God, why am I here if everything is failing?" No answer came, only the sound of rain tapping against the glass. He glanced at the small, worn notebook beside his bed. It was filled with quotes, reminders, and prayers he had written over the years. On the last page, written in shaky handwriting, were the words, "Trust God's plan, even when you don't understand the process." Ethan scoffed. "Easy to write, hard to live," he muttered. That night, he fell asleep to the sound of the storm, his heart heavy, his mind full of doubt. The next morning, the rain had stopped. The world smelled fresh and clean, as if the town itself had been washed of its sorrows. Ethan's phone buzzed. He didn't recognize the number. For a moment, he hesitated. Almost everyone who called him these days was either a creditor or a telemarketer. But something inside urged him to answer. "Hello," he said quietly. "Is this Ethan Carter?" A gentle, professional voice asked. "Yes, speaking." "Hello, Ethan. My name is Mr. Raymond. I'm the director of a community youth center in Brookhaven. We found your old article online from your college days, the one about finding hope in hard times. It really touched us." Ethan blinked in surprise. "You read that?" "Yes," Mr. Raymond replied warmly. "We're hosting a small weekend workshop for struggling teenagers. We were wondering if you'd be interested in speaking. It's unpaid for now, but we can offer a letter of recommendation and exposure. Would that be something you'd consider?" For a moment, Ethan was silent. A voice inside him said, "It's unpaid. It won't solve anything." But another, softer voice whispered, "Maybe this is a start." "Yes," he finally said, "I'd love to." After hanging up, Ethan felt something unfamiliar in his chest. Hope. The youth center was small, nothing like the grand stage Ethan once imagined. The walls were covered with colorful handprints, paintings, and motivational posters made by the children. About 12 teenagers sat in metal chairs, staring at him with hesitant eyes. Some looked bored, others looked broken. Ethan's hands trembled as he stepped to the front. For a moment, he forgot every word he had prepared. Then he noticed a boy in the back corner. Thin, quiet, his hoodie pulled over his eyes. Something about him reminded Ethan of himself. And so, instead of giving a formal speech, Ethan simply spoke from his heart. "I don't have everything figured out," he began. "In fact, right now, I'm probably more lost than you are. But one thing I know for sure is this. Just because life looks dark today doesn't mean God has forgotten you." The room grew silent. "I've been rejected. I've failed. I wanted to quit on life. But somehow, every time I fall, something unseen catches me before I hit the ground. I believe that something is God telling me that my story isn't over yet." A girl in the front row wiped a tear. The boy in the hoodie raised his head. Ethan continued, his confidence growing with every word. "Maybe your dreams feel delayed. Maybe your prayers seem unanswered. But what if, just what if, God is preparing something better than you ever imagined? When he finished, the room erupted in quiet applause. But more than the applause, Ethan felt something else. Purpose. In the weeks that followed, Ethan began visiting the youth center every weekend. He mentored teenagers, helped them with writing, and listened to their stories. One night, after a session, the boy in the hoodie approached him. "Sir," he said softly, "I was going to drop out of school. I thought no one cared. But when you spoke, it was like God was talking to me through you." Ethan swallowed hard. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lucas." "Well, Lucas," Ethan smiled. "Maybe God sent you to remind me why I shouldn't give up either." From that day on, Ethan and Lucas formed a strong bond. And then, something remarkable happened. One of the volunteers recorded Ethan's sessions and uploaded a short clip online. Just a few minutes of him speaking about faith, struggle, and hope. Within days, the video went viral. Thousands, then millions of views. Comments flooded in from people around the world. "This saved my life. I needed to hear this today. Who is this man?" Ethan's inbox exploded with invitations, podcasts, interviews, speaking events. Where there had once been silence, now there was a storm of opportunity. He sat on his bed, staring at his phone in disbelief. "This is impossible," he whispered. But deep in his heart, he knew the truth. This was not luck. This was alignment. This was God's plan unfolding. Months later, Ethan stood on a massive stage in front of thousands of people. Bright lights shone down as a quiet crowd waited for him to speak. But this time, he wasn't nervous, because now he understood. Every rejection had shaped him. Every delay had prepared him. Every tear had watered something beautiful. He held a microphone and said, "2 years ago, I was sitting in an attic room, thinking my life was over. I begged God for success. I begged him for a sign, and all the while, he was working behind the scenes, designing a plan far better than my own." The crowd listened in silence. I wanted fame. God gave me purpose. I wanted money. God gave me meaning. I wanted easy. God gave me strength. He looked up, his eyes shining with tears. So today, if your life feels like it's falling apart, don't be afraid. It may be that God is just taking apart the old to build something new and greater. Thunderous applause filled the hall. And for just a second, Ethan closed his eyes and remembered the stormy night, the lonely room, the doubt. And he smiled, because now he knew God always has a better plan for you, even when you can't see it yet.